Hello, everyone. Today we're going to start Unit 5, which is exponents and exponential functions. This is the first packet of Unit 5, and just a note, this is Chapter 7 in your textbook. So today we're going to talk about the multiplication properties of exponents. This is something you did the first unit in 8th grade. So let's scroll down here. Remember, while you're taking notes, you should always be completing the examples and filling out your note packets. I will be collecting it. Also, indicate for yourself anything you want to ask me about. So, in the multiplication properties of exponents, product of powers. For any number a and all integers m and n, a to the m times a to the n equals a to the m plus n. Now, remember that we call a the base and m and n are the exponents. So when we're multiplying, when you multiply, you add exponents, only if it's the same base. If different bases, you can't do that. So our first example here, when I have 3x to the 6 times 5x squared, that's all just multiplication. So I'm going to rearrange that so that I have the 3 and the 5 together, times x to the 6 times x squared. 3 and 5, these are just numbers. 3 times 5 is 15. Here I have the same base, so I keep the base x and I add the exponents. So it's 15x to the 8. For the second one, again, I'm going to rearrange and group things that are the same together. So I'm going to do negative 4 times 3, a cubed times a squared, and b times b to the 5th. So negative 4 times 3, that's negative 12. A cubed times a squared, I keep the base of a, add the exponents. 3 plus 2 is 5. B, I keep the base of b. When there's a variable by itself with no exponent, that's a 1. So that's b to the 6th. So I'm going to try a couple more here. So number 1, that's y times y to the 5th. They have the same base. The y has an exponent of 1, so that's y to the 6th. 2, I keep the base of n, add the exponents 9. 3, I keep the negative 7. That has nothing to be multiplied by. The x's, I keep the base and add the exponents. So I want you to pause, and I want you to try 4 through 12, and then come back and check your answers. Okay, so number 4 should be x to the 7th. 5 is m to the 6th. 6 is x to the 7th. 7 is 16a cubed, because again, the 2 and the 8 are just numbers, so I multiply them. 8 is r squared n to the 6th, because again, I group the like bases together. 9 is 4x cubed y to the 4th. 10, I group the numbers, so I grouped 1/3 times 2 times 6, which gave me 4. A, there's only one a, so it's a cubed. And then b times b to the 3rd is b to the 4th. 11 is 20x to the 10. And 12 is negative 6j cubed k to the 10th. Now we have two other rules. Power of a power, which is for any numbers a and any integers m and p. When we're raising a power to a power, we multiply. Power to power, you multiply the exponents. A power of a product just says that if it's inside a parenthesis, you give the exponent on the outside to each of the bases inside by multiplying. So we can combine and use these properties together to simplify. So if I look at my example problem here, I have negative 2ab squared cubed. So what that means is I'm going to raise that first part to the 3rd power. So I do negative 2, and it's important you keep the parentheses around the negative 2, a cubed b to the 6th, because I multiply. Then I do the second part there, which is a squared to the 4th, which is a to the 8th, because I keep the base and multiply the exponents. Now that I've done that, I'm going to simplify this. Well, negative 2 cubed, I can do that on my calculator. It's negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, which is negative 8. a cubed times a to the 8th. I keep the base and add the exponents, b to the 6th. So let's try a couple more examples. So number 1 here, I'm raising y to the 5th to the 2nd power. I keep the base and multiply the exponents. 2 and to the 7th to the 4th, I keep the base and multiply the exponents. Number 3, I have two problems here. X squared to the 5th, I keep the base and multiply the exponents. And then it's going to be times x to the cubed. Now I'm multiplying, so I keep the base and add the exponents. So again, I want you to pause and do questions 4 through 12 and come back. Okay, welcome back. So number 4, the -3 is outside the parentheses, so that is not getting the exponent of 3. So the exponent of 3 on the outside gets multiplied by the a, which is to the 1, so 1 times 3 is 3, and 4 times 3 is 12. Here, the -3 is inside the parentheses, so I did -3 in parentheses to the 3rd power on my calculator, give me -27. Again, a has an exponent of 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. So it's a cubed b to the 12th. Here, I need to do these parentheses first. So 4 squared is 16. Again, numbers that are bases, I just do the operation, 4 squared. The exponents is where I multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. And then b cubed, and that's as far as I can go. Here again, I'm going to square the 4, which is 16. X squared, b cubed. This first set of parentheses doesn't have anything on the outside, so I just rewrote it. B cubed squared is b to the 6th because I keep the base and multiply the exponents. Now I'm going to multiply the like bases of b, so I keep the base and add the exponent. Power to power, I multiply the exponents. Multiplying, I keep the base and add the exponents. Here I do -3 squared. J squared squared is j to the 4th. K cubed squared is k to the 6th. 2 cubed is 8. J squared cubed is j to the 6th, k cubed. Then I multiplied 9 times 8, which is 72. The j's, I kept the base and add the exponents. K's, keep the base and add the exponents. Very similar to number 10. 5 cubed is 125. A squared cubed is a to the 6th, b cubed. 1/5 squared is 1/25. A squared, b squared, f squared. When I multiply 125 times 1/25, I get 5. A to the 6th times a squared, I keep the base and add the exponents. B cubed times b squared is b to the 5th. F squared comes along to the right. Number 11 is -48 x to the 4th, y to the 6th. And 12 is 8x to the 17th, y to the 6th, z to the 10th. If you have any questions, please bring them to class.